Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another video. This time I'm coming at you with my top 12 list, top 12 want list for 2018. 2017 I made the video of my top 12 purchases last week. It's been a crazy year, it's been a cool year. I think I got quite a few nice things and so forth. And I've reached over 1,000 subscribers, so a big thank you to everybody out there that's subscribed to me, that is subscribed to me, and you continue to be regulars in my comment section and so forth. I really appreciate it. I'm going to talk more about that in another video. I'm going to do a little bit of a giveaway. It's not going to be a contest or anything like that. I just want to figure out what I'm giving away. All right, so just give me a little bit of time with that as a thank you to everybody that has helped build my channel. Geez, over the last 3.5 years now. So very happy at that, and very happy and very appreciative of everybody. And I thank you all for the nice comments that you do leave on my channel, on my videos. Even if it's sometimes you don't agree with some of the things I say, I could appreciate that and I can understand that. But I do appreciate the kind words that people do leave me. Thank you. So what is it that I want for 2018? How do I, 2017 was such a big year for me. How do I top that? Well, it's not about topping anything. It's just about what you want. You know what I mean? Of course, there are always books out there that I want to get. Some books that are just, important to me, personal goals for me to get. And some books, some of them can be, pretty big books for a lot of people. Some not so much. But so it's not necessarily about how do I top what I got in 2017. It's just more of what I would like to get, more that I think that I would be able to afford or add to my collection in the following year. So let's start out doing my top. I always do 12. I always go a little bit more than 10. But of course there's always more than 12, right, for all of us. So let's start at number 12. I'm going to do what everyone else has been doing. Last year I just sort of put it down and you saw everything. Well, I'm just going to do the slide down and we'll go through them one by one, all right? So let's see if I get this right. Number 12, right here. Let's see if you get a better look at that. I'm already screwing this thing up. Green Lantern 76. This has been on my I've wanted to get this book for a while, and I did have one briefly. Oh man, I'm really screwing this up. This is not working out. I did have one briefly last year, but I traded it in as part of a bunch of trade-ins I did to get that Fantastic Four #1 that you saw in the last video, my last haul video. So I think that was a way better acquisition than Green Lantern 76. But I still would like to get it. I've always wanted that book, and I was happy to have gotten it last year. But there was sometimes, with some big books, those of us that try to get these bigger books, and you try to do everything you can to get them, whether it's saving up or trading or selling or what have you, sometimes you got to make some sacrifices, right, to get the bigger books that you really want in your collection. And Green Lantern was one of those sacrifices. But I would like to add it again to my collection. All right, I think I got this going. Number 11, The Amazing Spider-Man #6, the first appearance of the Lizard. I've been a big Spider-Man fan for many years, and I was able to collect quite a few good Spider-Man books. Even back then, when I first started collecting back in the early 90s. But there are always some books that were left behind, and Amazing Spider-Man 6 was one of those. And, I've watched a couple of them, and I passed on a few. But this year, well, actually next year, 2018, I'm going to see if I can make it happen and finally get a decent-looking copy. Not a super high grade or a mid-grade, but a decent-looking copy, and add it to my collection. Number 10, another Spider-Man book. How about that? Amazing Spider-Man #3. Now, I have Amazing Spider-Man #3. I've had it for a long time, but I found out it's missing that pinup that's in it. It doesn't affect the story, but it's missing a pinup. That I can't abide by. My books have to be complete. My books could be low grade. My books could have some restoration, not all of them, only some. But I will not accept a book in my collection that's missing a page or two, whether it's a pinup that doesn't affect the story, or an advertisement that doesn't affect the story, or whether it's something that does affect the story. It's not good on any level for me. So I want to see if I could sell my Amazing Spider-Man number 3, use some of that money to get a better copy, a complete copy of and upgrade it. Number 9, Tales to Astonish 35. The first time Ant-Man is in his Ant-Man costume. You saw that I got Tales to Astonish 27. I got that earlier this year. Not really early this year, but it was more of in the middle of this year, right before the summer. But I showed it in my New York Comic Con video. I didn't get that book at the New York Comic Con. I just threw it in there because, it was on my 2017 want list, right? So I didn't want to put it in my December haul, so I said, what the hell, I'll throw it in my October haul. But now it's time to get number 35 to complete the Ant-Man story of him first showing up and then getting the costume. Or becoming the superhero, rather. Number 8, The Flash. Ooh, no cheating. The Flash 123. The first Earth 2. A Flash of Two Worlds book. That book I've always followed, and it's always been an interesting book, and I think it's an important book in the DC universe, not just because it's the first time the two Flashes meet, although that's very important. It's because it introduces the concept of Earth 2 into the DC universe, and I think that's a really cool book to have and a really important milestone in Silver Age DC. Okay, winding down, we went from number 8. Now we're going to go to number 7, if I get this thing right. The Avengers, number 4. We know what that one is, right? For those of you that don't, it is the first appearance of Captain America in the Silver Age, his first Silver Age appearance after being frozen in ice, for so long. He finally is thawed out, and he joins the Avengers, a very important book, especially for Captain America fans. And again, it's another book that I came across several times this year that I passed up for other books. But now I think it's time to make the run for it in 2018. Number 6. Sgt Fury and his Howling Commandos number 1, the first appearance of Nick Fury. As I try to fill in my Marvel Silver Age gaps, like the big ones, like I was able to get Ant-Man, I was able to get the Fantastic Four, I was able to get Doctor Strange, I already had the X-Men and Daredevil. Well, now I'm trying to fill in some other gaps. Well, the Tales to Astonish 35, first time Hank Pym's in costume, that's one of them. But also the first appearance of Nick Fury, I think that's another good one to get. It's certainly not, in my opinion, a top-tier Marvel Silver Age. It's definitely on a top list, but it's not one of the bigger ones. But it's definitely a big one to me that I would like to get. Number 5. The Crypt of Terror number 17. For any EC fan like myself, we know what the Crypt of Terror 17 is. Although it's not the first appearance of the Crypt Keeper, and you're not going to find that on this list because I think that would be way too expensive and just not worth it. If I could get it cheap, that would be great. But the Crypt of Terror 17 is the first time, it was the beginning of where the title was going toward Tales from the Crypt. It was Crime Patrol. It was last time it was Crime Patrol with number 16. And I think it was something else earlier in the series, like numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it was called something else. But it's the first time the series became a horror series. And it coincides with the Vault of Horror 12 as the first EC horror comics. And it's definitely a great one to have, in my opinion. And you don't find it's kind of hard to find. And when you do find it, it's really low grade, very expensive, and just not worth getting. But if I could find the right copy, I would definitely like to make it a mission of mine to try to find that right copy for 2018. All right, this thing's getting harder and harder to do. All right, we got number 4. The Avengers #1. I told you, I'm on my quest to try to fill in some big Marvel Silver Age gaps. Now, you know me, it doesn't have to be a high-grade copy at all. I don't want a restored copy. You know, I'm going to pass on that. I do have a restored Fantastic Four 5. I don't care. In the scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. But I don't want to make a habit of collecting restored silvers. It's just not really my thing for Silver Age. But I don't mind a low-grade copy because I'm not going to spend crazy amounts of money on an Avengers #1 or any of those books. Mid-grade, high-grade, although some people will, and that's cool. That's for them, but it's not necessarily for me. But I would like to just have the book. You know, it is an important book. I don't think it's definitely one of the top Marvel books of the Silver Age, but I think it's below a lot. I think it's below X-Men. It's below, obviously, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and, you know, the really, really, really big ones like Amazing Fantasy 15 and Incredible Hulk. I don't think it's really one of the biggest ones, but it's definitely a big one. Definitely higher than Strange Tales 110 and Daredevil #1, but definitely a good one to have. And I think, low grade, they're quite affordable, to be quite honest. Because really nothing happens in Avengers #1. It's the first time a team comes together and calls themselves the Avengers. But it's not the first appearance of anybody in that book, from my understanding. It's not the first appearance of Ant-Man, the Wasp, the Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, Loki. None of those. But it's still a very important, definitely a good Marvel Silver Age book to get. And that's why I want it. Now we're going down, we're almost done. Getting down to number 3. Action Comics 252, the first appearance of Supergirl. I passed up on getting this book this year. I decided to go with Hal Jordan's Showcase 22 instead of Supergirl. I think it was a good idea, at the time, but now it's time to get the Supergirl, and I'm hoping I could get that one pretty soon. It's definitely one I've had my eye on for a while and want to make a reality. Number 3. Now we go to number 2. Look at this. Here we go again. Journey into Mystery 83. The first appearance of Thor. I don't need this other board now. That's a top silver Marvel, definitely. Not as big as Iron Man, I don't think. Definitely not as big as Spider-Man or the Hulk, but it's up there. I think definitely in the top 5 Marvel silvers. I think you'll find top 5. Yeah, I would think that the top Marvel silver is Amazing Fantasy 15, and right under that is Incredible Hulk 1. Then under that one, it gets a little... I think it becomes more debatable, I don't think it's debatable that Amazing Fantasy 15 is the top Marvel book. Some people may say Fantastic Four 1 is. When it comes to money, value, it's not. It's not anywhere near Amazing Fantasy 15. You would think it would be, right? But it's not. But I think when it comes to number 3 on those top tier Marvel books, it could be debatable. It might be the Fantastic Four #1, and under that Iron Man, you might interchange. Number 3 might be Iron Man and Fantastic Four. I don't know, but I think definitely under those two would be Thor. He's a pretty important character, very big character, and that book is starting to get out of reach, even in low grades. But just with a little patience, I'm sure you can get it, depending on what grade you want to get it for, of course. So, all right. I blocked out all the others. So what's the number 1 book on this list? It's a book I would like to get. I don't know if I will be able to get it because, I make these top 12 books to get, and sometimes I don't get them all. Like last year, I wanted Detective Comics 168. Well, that didn't happen. Vampirella 1. I changed my mind. So you never know. But this is one book, my top book of the of 2018 that I would like to get. Low grade, of course. Let's see. Number 1, Detective Comics 225, the first appearance of the Martian Manhunter. And some argue that ties with the beginning of the Silver Age. I think it's the beginning of the Silver Age period. But I heard it ties with Showcase 4, and there are probably some others it ties with. But yes, a very important book in DC, in the DC universe, and in comics, to be quite frank. I would love to add Detective Comics 225 to my collection, to add to all the wonderful books I was able to pick up over the years and recently. Well, that's my top 12 list of top 12 want list for 2018. Hopefully, I'll be able to get all of them, if you know, most of them, if not all of them. And I hope you're still watching and you're with me as I show hauls every so often. There'll only be 6 hauls next year, you know, because I do them every other month. And hopefully you'll see most of these in those hauls. Once again, thank you once again for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. Like I said, I'm going to do a giveaway. It's probably not going to be anything big, okay? You know, nothing big, but just I want to give a little bit of a thank you. But more details on that before the end of the year, okay? So thank you once again for watching this video. Thank you for watching all my videos. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.